John, let's talk about our two exciting offerings in the marketplace. Operational due diligence for financial institutions, and then transformational work with actual entities.
From what we can tell in our market research at this point, there's not the kind of operational due diligence that we are offering being done by other parties. It seems that the financial entities these days do in their own home office. They analyze the documents and they listen to the stories, and sometimes they have interface with people online. But to actually put boots on the ground and go internal in the operational environment itself of the candidates is not being done much. There are a few that do that. And what we're about is we actually go, and in about 3 to maybe 4 weeks, we can actually conclude whether or not this candidate is a good investment possibility, and to what degree.
So in that conclusion, there are a number of different things that we look at.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, we're looking at what's the capacity of the leadership to lead in the direction that they want to go.
Yeah.
Another thing that we're looking at is what is the organizational structure that's in place and how well is it working.
Yeah. And the integrity of the business processes and the interfaces.
Okay, yeah, so how are handoffs taking place? Where is it both inside the organization and also outside the organization with suppliers and with customers as well?
And is the dialogue full? Are they able to be transparent enough where between suppliers, the entity themselves, and the customers that there is this flow of how we make ourselves better? How do you ingrain that kind of reality in that business?
Right. And what does that allow the financial institution to address that just looking at balance sheet or just looking at income statement is going to be less than full?
Yeah, and especially, that question is so poignant because my partner is a serious investor. And one of the reasons why he got excited was thinking that this kind of value added would be additional to his decisions about how he's going to invest. Oh, it's like night and day between the confidence that these investors would have and their ability to track over time, knowing how in fact these changes that we identify from the assessment work that we do. There's a 2-year change agenda about what the company needs to do to move themselves forward in their vision. How well is that progress being made? And where are the points where significant new intervention is needed? All of these businesses need these kind of interventions over time, and where are the skills? Where is the capacities to know that and to then design how to make the changes in a dynamic way?
Right, so there's a number of skills that we potentially are in a place to bring to and embed into the organization. Yeah. So let's talk about some of those skills that we bring in. One that comes up for me, near and dear to my heart that it is leadership development.
Yeah.
That critical understanding of what are the capabilities that leadership, and I actually believe it's leadership at all levels of the organization,
for sure,
need to have in place in order for them to allow an organization to develop in an effective way.
And it's amazing to me. I've been in this business for more than 30 years, and we're still at that place where that seems to be a new concept. And this is work that we were doing in the early 80s, for God's sakes. So why is that new concept not actually blossomed in a way in the marketplace so that these business leaders can really grow and sustain themselves over time the way they want?
Well, one of the reasons I think that's so is that the complexity of our environment, the complexity of the economy, the complexity of the movement from a national economy to a global economy, to supply chains that cover the world, to communication that is instantaneous now rather than taking days or weeks, as the case may be, are calling for more capacity of our leaders. So I think in fairness to leadership development, there has been an ongoing effort to grow leaders for as long as I can remember, to tell the truth.
I think that curiosity is steady.
Right.
It's been there.
Yeah, but what has happened is the complexity with which leaders are being called to step in and carry forward has increased tremendously.
Yeah.
And so the original management principles, valuable as they are, haven't been sufficient for the complexity of the organizations that we have today. So part of what we're bringing is, what are the leadership skills that are needed now in order for organizations to be sustainable, to be agile in their ability to shift and change and respond to changes in the marketplace, and to both anticipate what may come and deal with that, but
as much ahead of time as you can.
As much as you can, but to also be able to roll with unexpected changes so that when there is a hit to the economy, that the organization has the ability to see it, respond to it, and make adjustments accordingly.
And hopefully before your competitors do.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, so that they're continuing to interact with the environment in an effective way. And this requires a capacity to sense into change, to recognize when it's happening, and to then trust moving forward, even when you don't know for sure what's the right thing to do. So that skill, that ability to surface what's happening inside a team, inside a division, inside a whole organization, how people are responding to that, and then plot a course that the group can in fact buy into, support, and make happen.
And you know the difference when you step into an environment that has those qualities that you're describing? My God, you know it immediately that this business is a different entity in comparison to the norm.
Right.
And it is that energy and that kind of draw to new employees, and then the way they get oriented into that kind of environment that's essential. And without good, clear leadership in that regard, it just doesn't happen.
Right.
We're left to our own, and that's not very efficient.
The word that's coming up for me is generative leadership. That we're actually developing the capacity to generate from what is to what we want to be, and build the skills and the capabilities. And there's a level of trust of oneself and a level of trust of the group and the capacities of the group in total that the organization can rest in.
Yeah, and a joy in the unknown.
Yeah.
Instead of being afraid of the unknown, actually embrace it and move forward and say, what are we going to learn today, in our work group? And how are we going to make better use of those resources we just received from the supplier upstream?
Right.
And how do we give it to our customers downstream? And it's a dance.
Yes. And a piece of that to me is actually shifting our embrace of risk and moving from sort of a fear-based, if I don't know all the answers, it can't be, or I can't do it right, to discovery.
Right.
And one of the terms you used the other day that I just fell in love with was thinking in terms of puzzles to be solved versus problems to be solved. And what we're really teaching is recognition of puzzles, and building capacity to puzzle solve within organizations. And we can offer the understanding of what's the current capacity to financial entities who are looking for great investments and opportunities to move and grow and develop their assets in the process of it. And then we also have the second opportunity, which is actually investing time and energy into an organization to build these capacities within the organization so that they become self-sustaining,
Yeah.
that they have the capacity to generate new opportunities, to react and respond to changes in the environment, which is an essence of sustainability, is actually being able to respond.
You know, we've had this concept of action research for quite some time, decades actually. And so the pragmatics of actually assembling a learning unit with a natural work group and having them commit to what it is they want to develop themselves in their group, and then what they need in order to make that happen well, and to set up what's basically an excellent learning laboratory in the whole, so that the kind of flow of communications that goes back and forth is really meaningful. They know how to make sense of it, the information is readily available, and how can we actually leverage that information so that we improve our business processes, improve our business performance.